Yo, what's up, guys? I know I'm a little late to the party. I saw these patch notes yesterday, just before I went to bed, and I was like, well, I'm not gonna make a video on it. Most of the time, I don't make videos on the balance patches that much, but I got quite some questions like, what's your take on this? What's your take on that? What's your take on this? What's your take on that? So for those reasons, probably it's not gonna be viewed that much. So for that reason, if you like this video, please do, because I think you've seen this balance patch already, but it's just my take on it rather than showing you what's going to happen. Because I think you have, if you check the other videos, you've probably already seen what's going to happen. You probably read it yourself. But this is more focused on like my take on it. What do I think about these balance patches? Do I think it's fair? Do I think it should be more? Do I think it should be worse? Something like that. So without further ado, let's go into the balance patch. This is still a pre-notice. Do keep in mind they do tend to change some things that they over-nerf or over-buff. Which, for example, they did with a Jogun afterwards, but also with a Kraka that was changed between the original notice and then the final notice. So we have Tianlang getting nerfed from 20% to 15%. I think this is fair. Tianlang is pretty much the strongest counter pick in the game right now, so having a slight nerf on it I think is fair. It's not a big nerf, it's still pretty oppressive, good unit. It's still a must ban on the 5th slot most of the time, and I think it's a fair nerf. Water Mage, this is a pretty simple nerf. I think it's a very lazy nerf. They could have done a lot more things. Like the thing that I had in mind personally is that 1 stack could revive for 30%, 2 stacks could revive for 60, and 3 stacks could revive for 100, but you're still just reviving 1 unit rather than still being able to revive every unit. Sure, a unit with lower HP is more likely to die right afterwards than it used to be. I think it's a decent nerf, but I still think this unit is going to be very strong. It's not nerfed to shit, it's still very, very strong. Lima, I think this is a really good buff to Lima. I think this is somewhere along the line what Lima needs. I would personally also like Lima to see that her S2 still gives the dots instead of just the slow. But I think this is a pretty good thing for Lima. And I think Limas in general, triple revenge Limas are going to be pretty strong. Then we have the Chimeras. Chimeras do more damage when the enemy HP status decreases. So this is going to be making Zeratul. If it proc once, it's just gonna slap the shit out of you. The other Chimeras don't do that much damage on their S1. Their S1 should be based on speed damage for most Chimeras to actually kind of get useful. So it's still a kind of inconsistent skill for the other Chimeras, except for Zeratul, which is just built on like purely a lot of attack. So then we have Crush. Crush simply guarantees a freeze on the target you select. I think that's fine. They should do more of this resistance ignored kind of stuff. We have Rakan with a provoke for 2 turns. I think that's very strong, because if Rakan provokes, he gets hit by a provoked unit. Rakan has a chance to do another collapse. That collapse then has a lot more chance for cycling. So the collapse cycling is a lot bigger with this. So I do like that increase. Light Chimera has the decrease of attack bar of 25%. It's a nice addition. It's a nice addition. I think mainly the main issue with this Chimera is his base speed, which is like 95 or 96 or something. It's very low. So I'm not really sure if this is going to be the way to fix it or to help it. But I guess increasing the S3 and the S1 by a slightly bit is going to help some. Then we have the Onmyouji. Well, as you guys know, I pulled the light Onmyouji, so I saw this at first and was like, yo, I kind of expected this because of the transmog. Then I started reading this, I'm like, yeah, I had a lot of good ideas myself how to fix this kind of stuff, but this is probably not the way. So let's start off. We have the Tomu, the fire one, absorbs, increase the attack bar of absorption. I don't know, man, there's too much resistance check with this whole thing. There's too much setup. I don't really see this unit work, so I have Gianna. Gianna's pretty much the best setup for this thing to work, and even then, this thing doesn't really work. So it's, I don't know. It's also because it's fire. If this thing was actually a light or a dark element, it would be a lot better because you're not working with the glancing hits and that kind of stuff. But since it's fire, I don't know, man. Since it's fire, it's pretty bad. If the whole kit of the fire one would go to, let's say, the light one or the dark one, I feel like it would be a decent unit. But on a fire, I don't feel it. So then we have the Light Past Life spell. I said personally the skill should do more when no one is dead, while they just decrease the cooldown when a unit is alive. But you're still putting Soul Protect. Soul Protect is by all means one of the worst buffs in the game, because Soul Protect revives without attack bar at 30% HP. You're very likely to die right after a Soul Protect just popped. So that doesn't really do too much, especially with Nana in there. You don't want to give double stacks to Nana for no reason. So I don't really see Soul Protect doing anything useful from their skill. Maybe I'm slightly biased because I have the unit and I think she's pretty bad. But that said, I don't think this is a good increase. I think it should do something more. Like the cooldown increase, take that away. Take that back. Just let the skill do actually something more. Let it heal, I don't know. Let it give some other buffs. Immunity, I don't know. Some other buff, something. Some attack bar increase, I don't know. Something useful. But this is just straight up like very lazy increase. It's like, oh shit, I just want cooldown less. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Not really a thing I think is good. Curse of Death, the target will be defeated, but Curse of Death cannot be revived during battle. Sounds cool, but it's actually pretty bad. You need 4 turns to actually die. Okay, a Diana would die pretty fast. But still then, if you have shields, if you have healing, if you have blah blah blah, and plus this skill can be resisted, plus this skill has to go through, like you first have to get rid of immunities and that kind of stuff. So I think the dark one is still pretty shit for the Curse of Death. But then we have a change to Karma. Karma removes the target's one beneficial effect. It first removes and then it applies Karma. Issue: resistance checks, resistance checks, resistance checks, and as finally resistance checks. Plus that Karma is still one of the worst skills in the games, because Karma is simply you put a debuff that is a silence which you can ignore. If you, let's say, put Karma on a Yeonhong or Praha, they literally out-heal Karma right away. Karma is useless. So it literally doesn't even change that you use Karma. Karma can also not kill. Karma is just really bad. It's literally a 2-turn silence that has a resistance check that you can ignore. And it removes one beneficial effect right now. So if you use it on something that has, let's say, immunity plus a shield, or immunity plus an attack buff, or immunity plus whatever, you are probably not even gonna land that thing. So I would say Karma is still one of the worst skills in the game. Continuing, Fire or Water Phoenix freezes without any conditions. No one uses that. Sorry, no one really cares. No one even is going to fuse that unit anymore, pretty much. Like some people maybe, but no. No, okay, Frozen Orb also. Okay, cool, whatever. Light one also stuns without a condition. Okay, this one is kind of used because it's used in RTA, it's used in Arena Cleaves, that kind of stuff. And we have a Perna. Perna also now heals herself. So you can actually make a tank Perna to have Perna heal everyone a lot. That's an option. Is that bad? I don't know if it's necessarily good or bad, but it's an option. Make Perna a healer thing. Then we have too many resetters right now, so Perna S or like S3, it's gonna be reset anyways. Perna dies, it's done. We have Flame Nova that removes one beneficial effect of the target. I think for Flame Nova it's not that interesting. I think it's pretty interesting mainly for the Dark one, because now the Dark one actually applies a strip, then it does damage, and then it does the defense break, and it does the branding hit. It's a nice setup unit, but it would be very nice if it would first land the strip, then the defense break, then the what's it called? Then the branding, and then the damage. Then Dark Phoenix would be fixed. This fix to Dark Phoenix is, it's something, it's definitely somewhat in the good direction, but I don't think this is going to help anything pretty much. It does enable to give more setup in siege offense, I would say, but that's about it. For the wind one, I don't even think anyone uses that in anything related other than PvE kind of stuff. Then we have dragons. Dragon S2 from Farad actually goes up for the freezing chance by 60%. I don't know why it's 60. Why don't make it 100? But you get a 2-turn freeze if you already had a freeze on it with 60% chance. I don't get the 60% chance. Just make it like legit. The Farad is a worse version of Tyrone, since Tyrone got multi-hits and glancing. So, and the slow. Does Farad even slow on the S3? I'm not even sure. I don't think he even slows on the S3. So, yeah, that's pretty mediocre. At least you have a reason to actually do S2 right now when you just did S3, which wasn't in the past, so that's a nice addition, I guess. We have the... You can also use this with... If you use Tyrone and Varad together, you already freeze with Tayor. You freeze with someone else, and then you can use the Dragon S2 to extend that, which is pretty decent, I would say. But then the next thing we have Rain of Fire, which is gonna add a lot more debuffs, a lot more continuous damage. So this unit is going to be very good for TOA Hard. Well, it was already good for TOA Hard, but it's actually going to be even better for TOA Hard, because this skill just really shouts out, yo, use me in TOA. So that is pretty nice, I think. We have the second skill that is decreases the attack speed for 2 turns. Also for TOA Hell, it's pretty nice actually. Quite some people actually use the Wind one also in RTA, which I think is pretty niche to also have a slow in your team. So it's just 40% chance. I'm not sure how much this ups. I think it ups by 10 or maybe 20, but it's just something. So Holy Heal or Holy Light, holy shit. This is going to heal a lot, because how much HP is your Light Dragon gonna have? If it's by his max HP, let's say he has like 50k HP, this thing is gonna heal an insane amount. So I think the Light Dragon is actually going to be pretty decent to legit on siege defense. We have seen some on siege defense already, but this is going to enable this thing because it's also on cleanse. It's a very hefty heal right now. And you don't have to put very tanky units next to it to make this heal actually work. So you can actually go for some more high damage units next to the Zerath, and that will actually become decent. So then Grogan, unit I have, stuns with 15 to 25% chance. That's a nice up, and it does 50% more damage if the target's in ability effects. This skill does very little damage in general. Like comparing the S3 and the S1, the S3 has an increase of 100% crit damage. The S1 has just a straight up 30% damage increase. This now also has a 50% damage increase, but it's still like, it's a very weak skill. The stun chance increase is actually pretty nice. I think it hits like 3 or 4 times though. It's a decent increase. I think this increase is pretty nice actually, because Light Ifrit Asharian is something you could run. Let's say someone goes a Wusa plus Changpeng Carnal and then a Savannah or something. It's still kind of tricky, I know. But if you have a triple revenge Elsharian, this is something that could actually stack up. You could actually get quite some of the debuff stolen and that kind of stuff. So I think Elsharian, it's not necessarily a very strong buff, but it's one of those buffs that might push him over the edge to actually be pretty useful. So not sure if we're gonna see a lot of him, but I think on a triple revenge build, he actually might be pretty decent. Water Druid, I think this is one of the harder hitters of the balance patch. Remove all harmful effects on you if the ally falls below 40% HP. Which also means before you could just stun him, you hit something below 40% HP, you hope it doesn't proc and it's Gucci. Currently, it's actually going to be able to do its skills, and Water Druid is actually a pretty legit unit, so I think this is going to be a pretty nice one. The Fire Druid has 100% counter if something hits you that it was provoked before. The provoke rate is not 100% on the S3, or it's not even that high. It does happen, but it was already countering with a decent amount of rate, so it's a slight buff. I don't really think it's that much. Lipolar Queen gains another turn instantly if the enemy is frozen after the attack. It's an AoE hit, it's a multi-hit, so the odds of something being frozen are pretty high, so you no longer have to kill something to actually freeze it, which is a decent increase, I would say. It's nothing crazy. This unit's also not used as much anymore. I used to use it a lot in arena offense, but recently not anymore. But this is a decent addition, especially because of, well, Vanessa meta that we have right now. This was kind of used against Pisama meta because the S3 could mostly kill Pisamas, and then you could go for another skill with the S2. But now, since it's a more of a Vanessa or a Halfas meta in that kind of stuff, then this unit kind of got away, which now re-enables the unit kind of. We have the Water, Wind, and Dark Polar Queen with Storm of Midnight that will always land a critical hit if their enemy has no beneficial effects. I think it's strongest for Tiana, actually. You can actually run Tiana right now on crit damage. Don't care too much about crit rate. Right? For the Light and the Dark, most of the time, or for the Water and the Dark, most of the time, you want the 100 crit rate. You're actually cleaving something. You want, if you don't land that critter on your other skills, well, the Dark one doesn't have that many other skills because it passes on the third, but you really want your skills to land. If it doesn't land, then you are going to be screwed. The Wind one is mostly built on a lot of speed, and therefore you cannot really fit in the max crit rate. Plus, the Wind one, of course, removes all beneficial effects first. So if that still happens, if your beneficial effects are or their beneficial effects are removed, you follow up with some CC, then you're going to be able to land this always critter with the S2 pretty certain afterwards. So I think this is the best buff for Tiana compared to the other two units. For the other two units, it's okay, nice addition. But Samurais against 1 turn of immunity. Yeah, okay, we're not even gonna talk about it. Oh man, it should, all of the samurai should be able to start with Supreme Skywolf. Then it could be maybe a decent thing, but you already need a turn. It's a chance. It's something really bad. Brown Imitations run have a lower chance of proccing. I think that's perfectly fine. Harmless Pranks remove 1 instead of 2 beneficial effects. The only thing I'm curious about is this going to remove 1 or 2 beneficial effects on 1 unit, or 2 beneficial effects on 2 different units, or could it be the same unit, or is that RNG? I think it's going to be removing 2 beneficial effects on 1 unit, and afterwards it's going to be like that. So, okay, this one I didn't really read completely. Okay, it gains 2 turn of immunity like before. Okay, and then we have the increase of attack or defense for 1 turn afterwards. What's the difference with that? Increase attack, increase defense, increase attack. Attack speed. Ah, the last one is attack. I was just reading increase attack, increase defense, increase attack. Wait, that's the same, but no, attack speed. Okay, so you no longer get speed, you just get attack or defense buff. More chance for your Lucian to actually get an attack buff if your that gets banned if you're still cleaving, but that's about it. Okay, sure, whatever. Kindness gone wrong. Remove the harmful effects with a higher chance. Does it become like 100% with skill ups? Would be nice. I don't know. The light one, increase the damage by 100% if the enemy is higher attack or higher HP than yours. Gemini was never a damage dealer. I don't know what they want to do with that, but I guess. And then the Dark Udine. Okay. Use another increases the turn instantly. I don't even know what the other skills are on this thing. I know it's revives with a weird condition and it's kind of bad, and then I don't know. Okay, then we have awakening modifications. And I was like, yo, this is my Onmyouji. This is what I was talking about. Just change that the accuracy awakening changes into something that the S1 does something more. So the water one, we have accuracy awakening. Actually, the water one has an accuracy check on S1 and S3. So that is removed. That accuracy is removed for absorb the attack bar for 30% with a 30% chance on your turn. So I think it stays 30%. It's not more because of skill ups, because there are no skill ups on the 3rd skill, I think. Or no, on the awakening. So okay, then we have the fire one, which has the S1, the S2, and the S3 as an accuracy check. Accuracy is removed. And then a chance of stunning the unit for 1 turn with a 30% chance on your attack. Only your attack, so counters don't work. Then we have the wind one, which has the S1 and the S2 and S3 as a passive. So S1 and S2 as an accuracy check. Increase the accuracy is removed. And then decreases the enemy's defense for 2 turns with a 30% chance. First of all, these 30% chance are very inconsistent and very bad. 30% chance is absolute shitter. Second of all, where's the light one? This unit has 2 act checks on skills. This unit has 3 act checks on skills. This unit has 2 act, also 2 act checks on skills. The light one has 1 act check on skills. Like, what? What? And that one is not included in this? You cannot give one of that shit? You literally have like you could give Vertiheal an accuracy awakening. That's as good as like the accuracy awakening is on the light one. Why would you not give something? You do this for like pretty much the whole family except the light and the darks. I think the dark one could also totally use something like this. Sure, the dark one is kind of already buffed because Karma is buffed and the S3 is buffed, but man, that S3 is still gonna be a shitter, Karma is still going to be a shitter. You could do this for the dark one as well. So I really don't get this, why they do this for the normal elements, but not the light and the dark. Especially for the light. The dark I can kind of get, like you need accuracy. You want 85 accuracy on the dark one, 100%. So the 25 AC might actually help. But on the light one, you don't give a shit about your accuracy because you just have an inconsistent S1 as accuracy check and that's it. Why the frick do you need an accuracy? Like so many units, so many stupid units have resistance lead that don't make any sense. And this is one of the first units I would say like, yo, only thing that makes sense right now is resistance lead. And then it has accuracy lead. What? Oh, that doesn't make any sense, man. That doesn't make any sense. And then you have a balance patch where you address all of that and you're like, yeah, no. Like what? Oh man, that's just, I don't know. Okay, then we have the skill modifications for the Rain of Fire. Harmful effect adds extra damage. Wait, didn't we get 10% extra continuous damage here? So pretty much this is nullified by doing this. Well, you add extra damage. That's the trade-off. You add extra damage. But the first part of the buff is pretty much nullified by removing it later. Okay. Awesome. I thought it was gonna be cool for TOA. Well, more cool for TOA, but I guess it's the same thing right now. It does increase the cooldown time, which is still very nice. Okay. Then we have some leader skill changes. The wind one is actually going to increase attack power, which could be used for bombers, I guess. We have the heart mages, which is resistance in guild leads. Okay. We have the fire heart mage. Wait, fire is... Yeah, hard mages are Trianas and that kind of stuff. Okay, so we have a resistance lead on the water Triana. What the hell does the water Triana even do? Man, I don't even know. But resistance lead could be something. We have the fire one with a 33 HP lead, which I think is pretty nice actually, because the fire one is pretty often used in certain teams to slow clear stuff, but 9 out of 10 you already have like a Feng Yang next to it or something like that. But it gives an option for that kind of lead. And then we have the wind one for a 40% lead. I think the defense lead is the worst out of all. If the wind one had like an HP lead or a resistance lead, that would be very strong. Defense lead, I don't really feel like that much, but it is a nice addition, I guess. It's a something. Then we have a few skills errors that were messed up that are actually going to do something right now. Timing with Nana, okay. The Dryad skills, Earth Trance, there's an issue with it. Okay. Sure thing. Might fix your GB12 team if it was messed up. Light Unicorn to a sleep unit, fix the issue where not waking up. Other side of the moon. Well, you can keep them sleeping when you do other side of the moon. I don't know. Okay, Totemist off. Fix the stack of the Totemist. Yeah, they had some issues with that. And then we have the Dark Beast, which... Okay, also had some weird interactions. So that is it. So I think the heaviest buffers right now are probably, I think the Oracle Lima buff is pretty nice. I feel that the what else do I think is pretty nice? I feel like the Elsharian buff might be nice, but I'm not completely sure about that. I feel that the Druid buff, the Water Druid buff Abelio, might be pretty nice. And besides that, I think most of the buffs are just niche here and there, but nothing crazy. I think the whole Onmyouji family is still pretty shit because just Karma has to be actually reworked to make it useful. I think the S1 changes that they have with the Awakening is a step in the good direction, but 30% chance is just very lackluster, still very shit, just very low. This thing, man, you have a 2-turn armor break, Feng Yang and Molong, and well, the whole Panda family does this on a multi-hit with the same rate. or a higher rate even. This is a one hit. Like what the hell's even that, man? It's a one hit. Like change all of this to a multi-hit, then it would make sense. Okay, then this one would be pretty OP, then you have to lower this number, but make this to a multi-hit, man. This doesn't make any sense. Like the whole Onmyouji, that's the thing. If your whole family is shit, just change the S1 for the whole family to make it good. If you do this a multi-hit just of 2, it would already be good. You don't even need a multi-hit of 3 or something. Just a multi-hit of 2. But man, in current state as this thing is, it's pretty terrible. So I feel like this balance patch is pretty lackluster. It doesn't change that much. Maybe I'm a little bit biased because I have a light Onmyouji and it was buffed and was terribly buffed. I don't think this is any interesting buff because Soul Protect by all means is one of the worst buffs in the games, man. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think about these buffs and nerfs. Also, we got our wish that we have buffs and nerfs or balance patch every 2 months right now. But with that, what I said last time that I reviewed the balance patch, if you have a shorter window of the balance patch, does that also mean that they just balance less units? Which I feel like this is a less well-developed balance patch than the previous one. Previous one was very good. This one is just, well, pretty much half of last or 2/3 of last. So I think with us asking for a more frequent balance patch, they also just balance less units. So that's something to say either way. Is that good? Is that bad? I'm not really sure. So let me know in the comments what you think about the balance patch. Really curious about your ideas, what you would have liked to see. Sure, a lot of people are gonna be like, ah, where's my Christina? Where's my blah, 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 blah. Sure, that's always like that. Sure, your LD didn't get touched. Sounds really wrong. Whatever. Yeah, and Christina, to be honest, I don't even I'm gonna be for an unpopular opinion. I don't even think Christina's that bad. She's just really a meme that she's not being buffed. But a unit like the, where is she? The Wind Onmyouji is actually the worst unit in the game. It's far worse than a Christina. So with that said, thanks for watching, guys, and see you in the next one.